Top 10 fragrances for the spring of 2023. Let's talk about that. Hey friends, John here from Proverbs 27:9 Fragrances. Today we're going to be doing my top 10 list for fragrances for the spring of 2023. If you're a returning subscriber, we appreciate you very much. But if you haven't yet subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications on. That way you're notified every time we upload this sweet smelling fragrance related content. All right, so this is my top 10 list for the spring of 2023. We've got a good variety here. Some old, some new, and a lot of in the middle fragrances. I think all of these you're pretty familiar with. You may have not tried them all. Like I said, we've got some that are really old, some that are brand new, but the majority of them are just fragrances from the last 10, 20 years, okay? So again, everything you're probably familiar with. I'm just gonna get into it. I don't want this to be a super long video. I am gonna do 2 more spring lists. I'm gonna do a cheapie list, and I'm gonna do a classic gentleman's list. There may be a couple off of this list that hits the cheapie list. There may be a couple here that hits the classy gentleman's list. But in a particular order, and if you have watched a lot of my other spring videos, you're going to be shocked by the number 10 spot, because this has made the number 1 spot several times. But I'm going to go with an old classic from 1966, one of my favorite fragrance houses, Dior Eau Sauvage. And when you think, I meant to preface this, when you think about spring fragrances, you know, spring is that great juxtaposition between cold and hot. There's still a lot of cool days. There's some unseasonably warm days. You're thinking, let's start breaking out the citrus, the florals, the creamy woods. But what I really like about fragrances in the spring, I like to wear nice green notes. Springtime, everything's coming to life, and that's what you get in Eau Sauvage. Now, I put it low on the list simply because, although I love the way this smells, and to me it doesn't smell dated. Now, this is a 1961 fragrance, but this has been reformulated. You don't get all of the notes that are listed in the note breakdown. You know, I mean, and I can't list them all. I'm not going to list all the notes, but you know, lemon, bergamot, basil, jasmine, orris root, rose, patchouli, sandalwood, moss, vetiver, musk, amber, just to name a few. But what I get the most, bright, beautiful, juicy citruses, that the lemon and the bergamot, just heavenly, natural smelling, smells great. You get basil, a nice kind of almost like a sharp, spicy herbal note. You get some beautiful florals, and it's highlighted by jasmine. It doesn't smell rosy to me. There's carnation in this as well. Probably lily of the valley, but jasmine to me smells like honeysuckle, and I get this beautiful kind of honeysuckle type note. And then you get some great soapy, clean vetiver and musk. And I put it low on the list because I've asked dozens of people, hey, what do you think that smells like? And most of the younger people tells me it smells dated. I don't get it. If I never had smelled this in the current formulation, you told me that it was from 5 years ago, I'd believe you. But anyway, so number 10 on my list there. I'm going to go with another very similar fragrance. It was made 30 years later, but it's built kind of the same way. Bright juicy citruses, nice, beautiful florals, creamy woods and vetiver in the base, and now it's a classic, an older fragrance. But from '94, House of Issey Miyake, it's L'Eau d'Issey Pour Homme. Yuzu is what's highlighted here. Lemon, bergamot, mandarin orange. It's got a lot of citruses. This fragrance has really grown on me as my nose has changed. I used to think that this was way too feminine or unisex for me to wear. But as my nose is changing, I'm getting more used to smelling different things. It's really growing on me. I can really wear this one in the springtime and even in the summertime, in the high heat. This fragrance really does good. But this is just a beautiful citrus, floral, soft woods fragrance. So that is the number 9 spot. At the number 8 spot, a fragrance that doesn't get much love in the community, but will probably definitely be on my cheapie list. It's a 2015 release from the house of Dunhill, and it is Icon. And this fragrance is a neroli-based fragrance. And neroli comes across like a very sweet flower to me. Neroli Portofino. Oh, there was a neroli fragrance that I have that just slipped my mind. Very well known. But the neroli is the top note that you're going to get here. You get citruses. I don't get a lot of pepper. There is a little bit of a spiciness to it. There's a little bit of a woody backbone, creamy sandalwood. There's vetiver. There's moss. What I wish the moss note was turned up a little bit in this. I think it's got petitgrain in it. It comes across floral and a little green, but not too mossy. Again, I wish the moss actually was turned up. It's got some crazy notes listed like leather and oud. I don't get any of that, but it is a great smelling fragrance. There is a very nice cardamom note that you get in Dunhill. This fragrance smells way above its price range. Its presentation is amazing. The thing feels like a brick. I mean, it is heavy-duty glass with metal over the top of it. Big, beefy, lid. A really good atomizer. Clicks into place. I mean, and you can pick this up in the $20 to $30 range. So that's a springtime banger, if you ask me. All right, number 7 on the list. I mean, I need an Aventus style fragrance year round. The one I'm going with for this particular list is from Mont Blanc, and it is Explorer. It kind of still strikes me funny that people say there are some people that claim this is not an Aventus clone. I mean, I get it's not a 1-to-1, 95% clone of Aventus, a good clone anyways. But it is more than just an Aventus style fragrance, This is, I think, they tried to fool you with the notes. They got bergamot, pink pepper, clary sage, vetiver, leather, ambroxan, patchouli, cacao, pod. They've got all these funky notes, but when you spray this, it smells like Aventus. It smells like pineapple and blackcurrant and, birch and amber. It's what it smells like. So, but I like it. It smells good. It's not the best Aventus clone I have. It's not even close, but it is a designer style, cheap, not too synthetic-y version of Aventus. I think it's better than Club de Nuit. And I'm starting to think it's better than L'Aventure because I have smelled some Aventus clones that are so much better than them. So that's number 7. All right, number 6, you need kind of a office style fragrance, And I'll do a couple of blues here back to back, but you need some blue fragrances. In the springtime, I like blue fragrances that lean green. This first one, not so much, but it's just a clean, classy, slightly, spicy ambroxan type fragrance. It's one that you're familiar with from the house of Ferragamo. It's F Black. It's apple, it's pepper, it's ambroxan. Let me see here, some other notes. Tonka, lavender, tonka. So again, just one of those type of fragrances where you would wear Sauvage, where you would wear Acqua di Gio Profumo, Mr. Burberry. It's kind of in that ballpark. But the apple note just kind of makes it smell like springtime to me. So I really like F Black to wear as an office type fragrance in the spring. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're hitting the top 5 here. We are. So top 5, again, I said I like in the springtime, I really like a blue fragrance that has some green notes to it. And so this is a much newer fragrance, 2020 release from the house of Rochas, and it is L'Homme. I was very high on this fragrance when it first came out. And if you go back, watch my video on this, I might have been a little overzealous talking about it taking down, Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage and Dylan Blue and all those. I think it's a little too green for most folks that, green is not a very popular scent profile among mass appealing, the masses, I should say. But this, it has the nuances of blue fragrances that you really like, but it's also got this green tinge to it that just makes it smell really, really good to me. I still love it. I still think it's great. I still think it's better than some of those other blue fragrances. This one's highlighted by blood orange and pineapple. It's got cardamom in it as well. There's some more greenness from the basil, but it's got a very turned up oak moss note, which I really appreciate, really like. But it's done in a modern way. It's not one of those funky, dank, dated, almost animalistic oak moss notes. It's just kind of a green, it's kind of like when you're painting a sunset on a canvas, you've got to put the dark blues and purple and all this stuff around it to make those bright yellows and oranges and reds pop. And that's kind of what the oak moss is here. Makes that blood orange and that pineapple and all those great middle notes pop. But I really like it. Rochas L'Homme. Let's go back a long ways for this next one. Number 4 is going to be definitely one on my classic gentleman's list. This fragrance originated in 1961 from, again, one of my favorite fragrance houses. This is from the house of Guerlain, and this is Vetiver. And I just got this new bottle style here, and to me it smells just like, I had it in the Listerine bottle a couple different times. I had a huge bottle, like a 6-ounce bottle at one point in time. But this is the 2000 I don't know if they re-released it or reformulated, but pretty much been the same juice since 2000. So if you've bought anything in the Listerine bottle style that looks like this, or if you have the older Listerine bottle with a silver cap that looks like that, any of those iterations of it, this is pretty much the same juice. But to me, again, this is one that I do not think is dated at all. It smells mature and grown up, but it smells classy, smooth, beautiful bright citrus from bergamot. You've got tobacco. There is neroli here. There's some spices like nutmeg and I think cardamom maybe. You got a lot of vetiver here. This is a vetiver-based fragrance, obviously, by the title. And it is somehow both a clean vetiver and yet an earthy vetiver. I think there is two types of vetiver that is used here. So it comes across kind of a little soapy clean, but also a little dry. And it just smells absolutely great. This is the fragrance that inspired Terre de Hermes and Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver and all the great vetiver fragrances that have come along since 1961. If you have any classy taste at all, meaning more mature, gentleman style fragrance, you've got to have this. This is fantastic. It's a great office fragrance. It's a great dressing up fragrance. You can dress it down as well, but that's the number 4 spot. Number 3, a 2011 release. It's very popular. I've tried the intense version. I don't like it as much. I just like the original Eau de Parfum version from the House of Mancera, Cedrat Boissé. I bought this originally. This is my second bottle of this. I bought that originally because it was supposed to be an Aventus, very similar fragrance. And I bought it and I thought, well, that don't smell like Aventus. To me, I guess I was expecting it to be a clone of Aventus. I don't know. But I wound up selling that bottle. And then I got to missing it. I got to smelling other things that grew on me and that I really started liking. And I had that mental, file of what this smelled like. So I wound up getting it back again, and I was so glad I did because I love it so much. There is pineapple, there is blackcurrant, similar to Aventus, but you've got a lot of basil in here. You've got a lot of oak moss in here as well. There's cedar, there's jasmine, there's patchouli, there's vanilla. There's a really nice vanilla accord here. Of course, there's vanilla and there's musk and in Aventus. And so I would say that it's built on a backbone similar to Aventus without smelling like Aventus. It just smells similar. It smells like it's like, we don't want to wear Aventus today. I'd like to wear something kind of like it, but it doesn't really, I don't want to wear Aventus. Well, this is a great one. Bright citruses. This one's good for a cooler day in the spring or going out in the evening. Fantastic. Need to pick it up. Number 2 spot. And these next 2 are all pretty new fragrances, 20 and 22, I believe. But from the house of Michael Malloy, London, and doing business there in conjunction with Gent Scents. It is Terra Nova. Terra Nova. This is a vetiver fragrance. This is a very beautiful, citrusy, earthy vetiver. Very similar and reminiscent to Terre de Hermes, but I would say it's a Terre de Hermes inspired fragrances. Fragrance meaning that, probably when Ash, was coming up with his fragrances, he might have been like, I need a blue fragrance. And so that's where you got Blue Ridge. And he might have said, I'd like to kind of have maybe a fragrance that's similar to Terre de Hermes but more, whatever. I didn't think I would like this one when I got it. I got Jet Black. I got all these, I got his, whatever you call these, the travel atomizers, 15 ml. A lot of juice in these. Great atomizers, Look at that thing. Pressurized, just sprays out a mega blast. I figured this would be the one I liked the least. It was the one I actually liked the best. And they're all good, actually. Jet Black's kind of like Oud Noir by Versace, and Blue Ridge is kind of like, a lot of different blue fragrances. And this one's a little bit like Terre d'Hermes, but there's something else there that just makes it smell unique and different. Bergamot, lemon leaf, lotus. I don't know that I pick up on the lotus note as much as you can on like L'Eau d'Issey, but that's a unique note there. It says ambroxan, and there definitely is, but it's not like Blue Ridge where it's kind of an ambroxan bomb. There's tonka, ambergris, or black amber, I think is how they might have had it listed, but this is not one to sleep on. If you're thinking about, trying Gent Scents fragrances, this is the one I would start with if it was me. Terra Nova. Number 2 spot. All right, number 1 spot in the spring for 2023 is a release from 2020. And when I think of a perfect spring fragrance, honestly, this fragrance fits all the bills. One of my favorite fragrance houses, very well made, lots of, there's citrus, there's florals, there's creamy woods, there's projection, there's mass appeal. Dior Homme 2020. Now, I like the Dior Homme line. And when I bought the original Dior Homme, I think I've told this story before, I had went into a Belk and I'd smelled Dior Homme, but I didn't want to pay full retail. So this was late 19 or early 20. And so I got online and I ordered it. Of course, what I had smelled at Belk was this. What I received was the original. And I was like, this doesn't smell anything at all like what I smelled. And I didn't know anything about reformulations. I didn't know anything about anything. I just knew it didn't smell right. But I kind of started wearing it at night to bed, and it grew on me. The iris grew on me. I wound up buying Intense. Really, really liked it, preferred it. But then everybody was hating on this, so I didn't immediately go out and buy one, but I wound up finding it for a really good deal at Aura Fragrance. And I think I bought a tester of it and got it back in. I go, that's the one that made me even buy the other two. I liked it from go. It smells a lot like this fragrance from Guerlain, and that is Homme L'Eau Boissée. Smells a lot like it. There's a lot of these green kind of, L'Eau Boissée has this almost like gin note, and it's like lime and gin and, petitgrain and, like maybe, I can't remember what the woods are in it, but it just smells, Dior Homme 2020 smells a lot like Guerlain Homme L'Eau Boissée. There's a lot of Isoe Super here. There's a little bit of that pencil shaving vibe that you get from it. Cashmere wood, bergamot. There's a lot of bergamot. I was surprised they don't have more citruses listed, because it smells like there's maybe some lemon in here as well. Cedar, patchouli, again, loads of Isoe Super, ambroxan, vetiver, and musk. And what you get the most is the initial blast of the citrus top notes. You get a lot of Isoe Super, but there's a lot of vetiver, a lot of musk. It's very clean, it's very woody, very masculine, but yet still refined, and just smells like a spring day. So that's my number 1 fragrance for the spring of 2023. Let me know what your top 10 is and how you think I did here. Like, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed. Till we see you down the road, I say God bless. Frag on, Frag fan.